July 2, 1937. Somewhere over the vast Pacific Ocean, a silver twin-engine plane hums against the wind. Inside sits Amelia Earhart, the most famous female pilot in the world, just hours away from completing one of the most daring flights in history. But then, suddenly, silence. No distress call, no wreckage, no answers. The woman who defied gravity simply disappeared into the sky. And nearly a century later, her fate remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of all time. Did she crash into the ocean? Did she survive on a deserted island? Or was she captured, her story buried in the shadows of war? Tonight, we dive deep into the mystery of Amelia Earhart, and why the world may never know what truly happened. Before the mystery, there was the legend. Amelia Earhart wasn't born into fame or fortune. She was a girl from Atchison, Kansas, who fell in love with the idea of flight when most people thought women didn't belong in the sky. By the 1920s, she had become a symbol of courage, determination, and independence. In 1928, she became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic, though as a passenger at first. 4 years later, she did it again, but this time as the pilot, proving to the world that she wasn't just a passenger in history, she was writing it. Newspapers called her Lady Lindy, comparing her to Charles Lindbergh. But Amelia wasn't interested in being anyone's copy. She had bigger dreams, to fly around the world and prove that the impossible could be done. In 1937, Amelia Earhart announced her boldest mission yet, to circumnavigate the globe along the equator. A journey of nearly 29,000 miles. She would be joined by her navigator, Fred Noonan, a skilled seaman and expert in celestial navigation. Their plane, the Lockheed Electra 10E, was loaded with extra fuel tanks, maps, and supplies. The flight wasn't just about glory. It was about pushing the limits of aviation technology, inspiring women, and cementing Earhart's place in history. The journey began in Oakland, California. They traveled across South America, Africa, India, and Southeast Asia. At each stop, crowds gathered to cheer Amelia on. The press followed her every move. By the time they reached Lae, New Guinea, Amelia had already flown over 20,000 miles. Only 7,000 miles remained. The finish line was in sight. Their next destination, Howland Island, a remote dot in the Pacific, no bigger than a mile and a half long. The U.S. Coast Guard positioned a ship, the Itasca, at the island, ready to guide Amelia in with radio signals. Everything seemed in place, but what happened next would baffle the world. On July 2, 1937, at 10 a.m. local time, Earhart and Noonan took off from Lae, New Guinea. The Electra soared into the skies, heavy with fuel. Radio contact was spotty at first, but by morning, Amelia's voice was crackling through the Itasca's receiver. Her transmissions grew more frantic as the hours passed. She reported cloudy skies, poor visibility, and difficulty finding the island. At one point, she said, "We must be on you, but cannot see you." Later, she added, "We are running low on fuel." And then, her final words, "We are running north and south." After that, nothing. Silence. The plane never arrived. The largest air and sea search in history began immediately. For 2 weeks, American ships and planes scoured 250,000 square miles of ocean. But no sign of Amelia, Fred, or the Electra was ever found. It was as if the sky had swallowed them whole. The most accepted theory is that Earhart simply ran out of fuel, crashed into the Pacific, and sank to the ocean floor. The Pacific is vast and unforgiving, and wreckage can vanish beneath miles of water. But critics ask, if that's true, why has no debris ever been found, even with modern sonar and underwater searches? Others believe Earhart and Noonan landed on Gardner Island, now called Nikumaroro. In the 1940s, human bones, women's shoes, and aircraft parts were reportedly found there. Some researchers believe Amelia survived for days, maybe weeks, before succumbing to hunger, thirst, or the elements. It's a haunting thought. America's hero stranded, waiting for rescue that never came. One of the darker theories suggests Earhart was captured by the Japanese military, who controlled much of the Pacific at the time. Some say she was suspected of being a spy and executed. Rumors of her imprisonment circulated for decades, with locals in Saipan claiming to have seen an American woman pilot held there. But no definitive proof has ever surfaced. The strangest theory of all suggests Amelia didn't die at all. Instead, she returned to the United States under a new identity. Some conspiracy theorists claim a woman named Irene Bolam was actually Amelia Earhart living in secret. Though DNA tests and interviews discredited this claim, the legend refuses to die. Why does Amelia's disappearance fascinate us so much? Perhaps because it represents more than just a lost flight. It's a symbol of the unknown, of human ambition colliding with the vast mysteries of our world. Amelia was an icon, someone who dared to do what others couldn't. Her disappearance reminds us that even heroes are vulnerable, that even in an age of progress, the world still holds secrets we cannot solve. Today, explorers, divers, and scientists continue to search for answers. Sonar scans of the Pacific seafloor, expeditions to Nikumaroro, and newly discovered photos fuel the debate. But still, no proof. No closure. Just silence over the endless ocean. Nearly 90 years later, Amelia Earhart remains lost in time, her fate sealed in mystery. Was she swallowed by the sea? Did she survive, stranded on a lonely island? Or is there a truth too shocking for the world to know? One thing is certain. Until her plane or her remains are found, Amelia Earhart will remain the woman who vanished into the sky. And that is a mystery that may never be solved. What do you believe? Did Amelia crash, survive, or disappear under far darker circumstances? Let me know in the comments, because maybe, just maybe, the answer is still out there waiting to be discovered.